Shalom. This is to all Israelite groups and all Israelite communities and all breakoffs from One West and breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs. No matter what rainbow uniform you wear, red, white, purple and white, all white, it don't matter. You should all treat the ISUPK like your weird, misunderstood Sabbaths. You shouldn't do anything until you counsel with the ISUPK. We'll tell you when and what to eat. We'll tell you who to marry. We'll tell you who to have sex with and how. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your wives. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your friends, everybody. We'll tell you when and how to pray. We'll tell you how to direct your life in a way that's pleasing to the Most High God of Israel and our Black King Yahushua, a.k.a. Jesus Christ. We will be to you instead of a God. Just like the Most High told Moses in Exodus 4:16 that Aaron would be to him instead of a mouth and he would be to Aaron instead of a God, that's what we'll do for you. It is what you all need because none of you know what the fuck you are doing. I pray you understand. Shalom.
Yeah, you know what it is. 140 for the rebel, busy man shit, nigga. They turn their head over, nigga. I read what Eve did to Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like Samson, I can't let no holder lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, all they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Suckle up and stay alert. Another cop to stretch the nigga. He ain't demon, this an exorcism. Watch I bless the nigga. You took that open blood, then you know I'm gonna get active with you. From the opposition, I see vision. Let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spit, I ain't listening. Is effective. If revenge was a woman, now I scope that bitch like Jacob. So I war, we gon' run the summer. It's gonna be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. As who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't be do that. Bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young pay. How you real triggering on them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? What he saying something, I ain't hear him. This shit light. It ain't on who got this gun, it's on who gon' up that fight first. I turn a bad situation to a game changer. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain. Free shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand that feeds you, you'll never get that hand back. He bitching about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody wanna be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. A certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, I with that hollow sign, yeah, this the real McCoy. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still about my brain, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get it, boy, lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his game, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
Daughter messed up, no. Bad news, picture beat your home, nigga. Yeah. Go on, get on that ass real quick one time. 144, baby.
Run that shit up, Trey. They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, me a whole car. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I go with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our core. Wait up, let me make a call right quick. I'ma start another war. I was hurting when she left, but I don't care about anymore. I need a Vaseline like my Nina Puffer Ford. Took a Zach, watch the dark. Matter of fact, like the dark. Any problem, let them come. We gon' snatch they soul like Shang Tsung. Put them out of service, keep them tools like Miss Hopper Free. Try to hope it's way too late. I'm headed straight to the safe. Throw that one up like a trophy. I'm that nigga, ain't no debate. Throw them boys, we taking note. Call them up like set the date. This shit a piece of cake. Yeah, my bitches came from Whole Foods. Told them put on that top 3. Then bring me my house shoes. Don't make excuses, make moves. These niggas ungrateful, gotta show them UPK rules. I'm making this like I can't lose. They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that business like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, the whole court. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our core. Yeah, I just got off the call. I'ma start another war. Spit a plate up with my niggas, get your knife and your fork. They ain't locked in with the count and with the speaking to me far. Yeah, I just took the floor. Ain't no cowards in my campaign. They can't stop the campaign. Tell them bring the champagne. They know I'm a champion. They can see the outcome. Get them niggas bad, got them tied down and out there. You can't do with them steppers. Niggas been down since day one. We run up the bands, bitch, like Dylan. They say you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. Yeah, about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, we whole start. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this low, so that bitch is either or. I told you niggas, you ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our car. And I just made it call. We gon' start another war. Yeah.
All right, Shalom, Israel. We the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. It's the Friday Night Lashawan Qadash class. What we do, what we always do, we break down the scriptures from a linguistics perspective. It's a lot here. I mean, something that your Christian pastors are incapable of doing. One of the many things that your Christian pastors are incapable of doing, because they have, they've been taught to teach you lies. So therefore, every time you go in that Christian church, you hear that pastor get up on that pulpit, they're not going to teach you the truth that's in his Bible. They're not going to teach you. They're not even going to even so much as teach you the real color of Christ. Which is obvious, given the, as they say it. It's obvious given the environment, right? Him being in the Middle East, that he wasn't a white man. They won't even so much as teach you that he wasn't a white man. Yet in that Christian church, they got a white Christ on every wall. White statues of white Mary and white Joseph and white little angels. It's because even though your Christian church, even though it's almost common knowledge now at this point, all over social media, all over, all over TV and all over, TV and movies. The things that we've been teaching since 1969 are starting to come to the forefront. But even though this is the truth, even though the things that we've been teaching, the truth that we've been teaching out of this Bible is coming to the forefront, your Christian pastor still won't teach you the truth, because he was taught to teach you lies. The Christian church and your American government, your oppressors, go hand in hand. They are two members of the same body. Therefore, they got the same agenda to keep you docile so that they can continue to capitalize on your ignorance to keep you a slave. All right, but here in the ISUPK, we were teaching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth according to the Bible since 1969. So with that being said, if you got any questions or comments, you can go and put them in the chat. We'll go ahead and get them answered. Any Lashawan Qadash related questions, you go ahead and ask those, or you know, you can ask some scriptural questions as well, and we'll get into it and see. See what we can pull out of it as far as the language. All right. Let me see. I just want to do a quick. Okay, I just want to make sure volume is all right. If y'all have a hard time hearing me at any point, just as always, just just let me know. All right. With that, we're just gonna pick up right where we left off last week. If y'all was in attendance last week, we was going over the prayer for the HaKach, or the HaKach, which is the power. All right. We was talking about I believe we mentioned, I know this is about the fourth time, or the fourth class revolving around the HaKach. We got through a lot of it last week. But the power that we're talking about here is different from the word, because I know if you've been paying attention in class, or if you've been just around, right? If you've been around, if you understand the language, when we usually talk about the power, or when we're talking about power in general, it's usually Allah referring to a messenger of power, like a physical power, like a person who is a power, right? Or representative, for lack of a better term. Messenger, power, authority, or angel. All right. This ain't what that's talking about. This power is talking about ability, right? I know I've noticed about the third or fourth time I'm reiterating this. So like as I share my screen. I noticed about the third or fourth time I'm reiterating this, but I just want to start off by saying that, just so everything is clear. All right, and we're not talking about like a power like Elohim, or angel, or a messenger, or we're talking about the ability. When we face the east during Sabbath service, we face the east during feast days, which we got coming up September 31st or 21st. Good night. When we face the east and send up these prayers in the Hebrew and in the English, I just want y'all to understand what we're saying and what the purpose of these prayers are, so that when you're saying these words, you can understand what you're actually asking the Most High for. Because that's all these prayers are. It's just, you're just asking the Most High. You're going to the Most High and you're asking him for something. You know what I mean? And it's best for you to understand what you're asking. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you know what I mean, this is Salakia. But otherwise, you know what I mean, you tend not to take it as seriously, or you'll just be going through the motions. It's like, oh, I gotta come in here, I gotta put my garment on. It's time for us to stand up. It's time for us to turn around. It's time for us to say this gibberish. You know what I mean? And that's usually how it is when you first come into the school. I get it, because everything is so new, and that's a good way to, you know what I mean? That's a good way to start to learn when you're so new. But you know what I mean, after you've been here for a while, for a couple months, for a year or two, you know what I mean, at that point you should definitely understand the point of all of this, because this ain't like your Christian church. If you look at this like Salakia, let me go ahead and see how I can. But if you look at this like your Christian church, or if you look at this like there's no purpose, you look at it like you're just going through the motions, like this is what we do, this is what I got to do to be a good follower of Christ. You know what I mean? Then it's going to be redundant to you, and you're going to treat it like Christianity. That's what you're going to do. So the whole point, like everything in the Christian church is like, nothing in the Christian church makes sense. Nothing in the Christian church serves a purpose. All that hooting and hollering, all that jumping up and down, all that falling out and shaking, and all of that hashkala babala that they be doing in that Christian church. down to their holidays, you know what I mean? Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving and the trunk of treats and all of that. None of those things have a purpose. None of those things serve a purpose at all. You got a bunny laying eggs. You got a fat white man coming down your chimney that most of us don't even have. You know what I mean? And it's just all manner of gibberish going on in that Christian church. So if you bring that spirit into here, you know what I mean, and you just come in and you go through the motions, and you just like, oh, we got to stand up. Oh, it's time to turn around. Oh, it's time to do this and pray and repeat after them, and then sit down and then clap when they say clap, and sit down when they say sit down, and go here when they go here. And you just go through it if you just keep going through it without understanding the meaning, in your mind, you're going to think you're going to treat it just like Christian church. And that's going to be a gross mismanagement, a gross mishandling of, you know what I mean, the truth. Because this is something that you can't get anywhere else. And most people will never know about this. Most people will never understand who they are as a people. I mean, most people won't understand. Most Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans won't get this opportunity. I mean, you see what's going on with these ICE raids, how ICE is flooding, I mean, Black or Hispanic and Native American neighborhoods and jobs and schools to lock them up. You see how Donald Trump is deploying the National Guard to these cities that's bordering America and things like that to infiltrate Black, Hispanic, and Native American neighborhoods to essentially mass incarcerate us. I mean, and this has been going on. The mass incarceration of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans has been going on for so many years. But this is just this is just I don't even want to say accentuated version. It's what's been going on for years. But with that being said, with them mass incarcerating us, with them mass unaliving us, with them targeting us and things like that, destroying us in so many different ways, you know what I mean? Especially now you got social media and all those things like that. Most people won't ever even have the opportunity that you have. Like if you're able to come in here and sit in these seats and learn from the priests and prophets of the Lord, you have an opportunity that most people never will get. You know what I mean? You know how many people watch us online and never join the school? You know how many people walk past us at camp and never ask a question? You know how many people walk past us at a clothes and food drive, get clothed, get fed, you know what I mean? And we never see them again. You know how many people, you know what I mean, that would talk to Captain Katazai on Cross the Line Radio and get the number to the school in their respective zones in their cities and never call, or they call up 1 or 2 times and then we never hear from them again. I mean, let alone the brothers and sisters that get mass incarcerated and lose their life and, you know what I mean, is get mass deported and things like that. I mean, so if you in here, you got an opportunity to read these words that we read in. Let me expand this screen real quick. If you got an opportunity to come in here and read these things and got an opportunity to be able to learn what we going over tonight and the purpose of it, then, you know what I mean, you have something that's special that most people don't get access to and don't get to capitalize on. So it's especially important for you to, you know what I mean, to actually understand the purpose of what we do in here. You know what I mean? So you won't treat it, or you won't look at it just like another flavor of Christianity. You know what I mean? Because this ain't that. All right. So when we do the prayer for the power, and for the next couple of weeks, just to prepare you, we're gonna be going over the prayers just for this exact same reason, so that you can know what we're doing. When we say Imagim, which means to stand, and when we say Sar Wap Panya Hakwadam, to turn and face the east, you know what I mean? You understand the purpose of all of that. I mean, when we have sisters wrap their heads and cover their heads, when we have brothers, I mean, put garments on and put a headpiece on, I mean, when you can understand what all of those things mean, then when we say when we send these prayers up, you can understand what we're doing this for. All right. So last week we went over a decent amount of sight words, so I won't go over them. I won't go over them too much in detail, but I'll breeze over them. I'll kind of go over them as we come up on them. I think there was a question, or I forget what made me go into the last half of the verse, or the last half of the prayer rather than the first. I can't remember. I'd have to watch last class again. But point being, we went over the last part. I think we talked about. I think I jumped in right here at La Tahar because I wanted to because it was a word that kept popping up during Sabbath service. So I wanted to just point that out for the brothers that was in attendance last week. You know what I mean? Shout out to them brothers. Shout out to Officer Dewar Yala that was in attendance. You know what I mean? Officer Yawa Ash that was in attendance, and Trooper Itazar Gabar that was in attendance. You know what I mean? Lord willing. I mean, we might see a couple of them brothers pop through. But if not, it's no sweat. You know, no problem. But I just want to point that out because that was a word that was popping up last Sabbath service, right? And that's the whole point of like going through these prayers as well. Like once you understand the purpose, once you go through these prayers, you get a couple of these sight words. Then when you see them in Sabbath service, you see them in practical application. You can acknowledge it, you can recognize it, and it'll just grow you as a priest, or you know what I mean, your understanding of the Hebrew or whatever the case is. All right. So tahar means to clean, which you see right here, cleanse, right? The lepers, right? Which means this has to mean the lepers. All right. All right. Which I believe we so I'm gonna start from the top. So, but I just we went through pretty much. I think we went through this last part. Our Kawath Hatamala Lagar Shamba Hashem Yahushat the Water Aman. Then we went over that last part. And I said that I would come back when I got my book and go over a couple of these other sight words. All right. So the top part, we already know what this is. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. I mean, if we don't know, I mean, I'm sure if we don't know this, I'm assuming that, you know what I mean, it's because we're new to the class, because these are things that we say constantly. If you're actually in the school, and you around, this is something that we say constantly. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Baba Krashai. It's something that we say constantly, all right? Yahweh is the Most High. Ba'Shem is, Shem means name or reputation, right? So Bahashem is in the name, because Ba means in, Ha means the, all right? So Bahashem means in the name, all right? Yahweh, in whose name? Yahweh, which is which the world calls Christ, right? In the English, Yahweh is Joshua, right? Which is why when you read the book of Joshua and you see his name, when you read the book of, what was it? Where does he appear? When you read the book of Leviticus, when you read the book of Numbers, when you read the first 5 books of the Bible where Joshua appears, or he's mentioned rather, Salakia, you'll see in the Hebrew it's Yahweh, right? So I just want to mention that so that there's no confusion, right? When brothers see that and they see Joshua and then they see Christ's name, right? Jesus is just a Greek translation of Joshua, and Joshua is the English translation of Yahweh, which is the Hebrew of what his name really is. Right, Yah meaning he, Hawashai, which we get out of the Lord's Prayer, right? Because last, I believe, before we went to the HaKach, we went into the Lord's Prayer, and there's a portion of the Lord's Prayer where it says, "And deliver us from evil." Right? It says Hawashai Noah, Mayan Rai, which means deliver us. Hawashai Noah, deliver us. Right? Hawashai meaning deliver. Noah is a possessive that refers to we. Right? So Hawashai means deliver. Yah meaning he. Right? He delivers or deliverer. Right? Then we went over Baba Kashah last week. Baba Kwasha. Right? And I'm saying that for a reason. I wish I could highlight the middle of this. But Bakwash in the middle, Bakwash is the root word. Bakwash means to request. Bakwash means request. So Babakwash means in request. In request. Right? And the ha at the end means like it's a servile tense. So it's like you're humbling yourself because you're requesting something. Humbling. Right? Whenever you ask somebody for a favor, I mean, especially regardless of whether, I mean, because it's always rank and order. It's rank and order in you know what I mean? It's rank and order in the school as always. But like if you're asking somebody for something, generally you're coming humbly. You know what I mean? You ask a brother to do something, you're coming humbly. Like if you could, Baba Kashah, could you do this? Especially if it has nothing to do with the work of the Lord. You're like, hey, Baba Kashah, you mind giving me a ride to the store? Salakia, Baba Kashah, you mind if I borrow a pencil? You know what I mean? You're asking somebody, so you're coming in a humble manner, right? Right. So that's the purpose. So that's the purpose of like usually when you see the word Baba Kashah, it's always gonna have that ha at the end. Or when we use it in anyway, Salakia. I don't want to say always. And then Nathan Lanawa. Again, this is a word that comes up often in the scriptures in general. And this comes up often in the scriptures. Nathan. This is a word that you're gonna want to know and want to learn and add to your memory and add to your your sight words, add to your tool belt, because you're gonna see it often. Nathan means give. All right. And there's also a concept that we use. I believe we went over it last week. There's a concept that revolves around the na, right? This is a good example because again, how often the word Nathan is used in the scriptures. It is a good example to be able to learn that concept. All right. So if any brother or sister wants to like hone in on that concept, we probably because after we go through the prayers, or after we go through this prayer, we might go into back into the scriptures and read what we gonna go into during Sabbath service, right? Just to practice what we've learned so far, all right? And then we might go into the next prayer. It depends. We'll see. You know, I mean, we'll play it by ear, but as you read the scriptures, you'll see this word often. And usually when you see this word, it won't be Nathan. It'll be Yathan or Muthan, or it'll be expressed in a little bit differently. And we explained why that is last week. Whenever you add a preposition to a word that starts with na, the na is replaced by the preposition. That's the rule. You know what I mean? That's a general rule that you see, especially with this word Nathan. All right. But I won't beat a dead horse. If you want to go a little deeper into the concept, you can either watch last week's class, put it in the chat, and then we'll go into it. Or, you know what I mean? We'll go into it next week, or not next week. We'll point it out live while we're reading Bible Hub. All right. But first thing you want to do before you even get into that concept is get this word under your belt so that you can practice with this word. All right. So Nathan means to give. It means give. All right. Nathan, give. All right. Nathan means give. Noah, we just talked about Noah, which means us. All right. So Nathan la Noah means give to us. Again, we're asking the Most High for something. What are we asking the Most High for? The power, the ability, right? And if you want to understand it, just for teaching purposes, if you need to, you can replace the word power for ability. All right. So instead of saying the power, you could say the ability, right? Because that's what we're asking for. All right. So Baba Kasha Nathan Lanawa HaKach. Please give us the power. Please give us the ability. All right. Ha meaning the. Kach means power or ability. All right. So please give us the ability. All right. The ability. All right. You see a comma here and it repeats. And full disclosure, there's no commas or punctuation, like English punctuation in the Hebrew. So when you read it in the Hebrew, you're not going to see commas. But the men above us put this here so that we can understand it. All right. So please give us the power. The power. Now we're getting specific. What kind of power? What kind of ability are we asking for? All right. The power to heal. I believe we went over this last week. Rapa'ah means heal. La Rapa'ah means to heal. All right. Call Makala. And I think we was about to go into this, but we kind of skipped over it. Just for the sake of time. But what I want brothers to do is get familiar with this book right here. Get familiar with your concordance. I know the brother Ika Zagabar and Yawa Ash was kind of practicing with it last week, but you want to get familiar with this book. And in the back of it, there's a Hebrew dictionary, right? And if you know the Hebrew alphabet, Abagada, Hawaza, Chata, Yacha, Lama, Nasa, I, Pata, Zakwa, Rasha, and Ta. If you know the Hebrew alphabet, then you can take that and go to the Hebrew dictionary and look up words just like how you would look them up in the English. So you look up Hebrew words just like you would look them up in the English. Salakia. So what we was looking for was call makala. So call is all, right? It's another common word that you'll see often. Call means all, every, similar words like that. Makala, right? Now what you wanted to look for was chala, right? Which what we found was, I got the concordance code written down here. Chala, which is or the root word rather, Salaki, is concordance code 2470, which would be to be rubbed or worn, hence to be weak, sick, afflicted, to grieve, make sick, to disease, to be diseased, grief, to put in grief, pain, or all of those, wounded. You get the point. Like, this is a sickness that causes pain, right? So like an abrasion, a burn, what is it? What do we talk about? Things like that. Or what is it? Like physical ailments. All right. Or just a sickness that causes pain. All right. Let me see. Then there's another one. Let me find this one real quick. 1, 2, 4, 5. Salaki, bear with me 1 second. Then if you go to Concordance Code 4245, it gives you Machala, which, like we was talking about before in previous classes, when you add a ma to the beginning of a root word, it creates a new root word, right? So Machala means ma meaning of, chala meaning pain, or machala, sickness, right? Then wakal, right? And all ma dawa, right? So then you want to do the same thing. Look for the root word dawa and then put it together with the ma, right? So dawa, you got Concordance Code. Let me find it again. Dawa is 1738. 1738, Salakia. 1738, which means to be sick, infirmary, or to be sick as if in menstruation. All right. So this is and then madawa, right? So sick, and that's important, right? This is a sickness that causes like disease, or like something that would more so make you unclean, right? So it mentioned menstruation, like if you got like a illness that causes like lesions or boils or things like that, this will be more so talking about that. Let's actually go look at. Let me see if I got it here. All right, 4064. So, Lucky, bear with me. 40. $64. So it just simply says sickness, disease. All right. But these are just talking about makhala, wakal, madawa, are talking about two different types of sickness. All right. HaKach, the power. All right. So this is another thing we ask in the Most High for. HaKach, la tahar, and this is where we left off, I believe. La tahar, the power. Tahar means clean. La tahar means too clean. The power to clean. All right. Ha matazarium. All right. Let me see if I got this. 6879. Salaki, bear with me. I'm just going through this real quick because again we went through this before, and this is about the I believe this is about the third or fourth time that we going through the prayer for the power for the past couple weeks. And this is a lot of what I'm going through right now is just some review from last week, all right? So I'm just kind of going through it real quick right now, but if you need any extra details or any more information or whatever the case is, you're gonna go a little more in depth with a particular topic or anything like that, you can always put it in the chat. Or if you need me to slow down or anything like that, you can put that in the chat as well, and I'll be happy to do so. All right. But if there's no, closed mouths don't get fed. So if no one speaks up, then I'm gonna just continue to move forward with the class. All right. And assume everybody is getting the information that I'm giving. Because of course you can always pause, rewind if you're watching online, things like that. All right. What was we looking for? All right, the root word for matazarium. All right. So before we get the root word, let's look at this. So we already know that ma, or first of all, let's start here. Ha is a preposition that means the. All right. And then ma is a preposition that means of or from, right? Or like we just talked about a second ago, it's a preposition that you can add that means of or from, but once you add it to the beginning of a root word, 9 times out of 10, it creates or has the ability to create a new word, right? So sometimes it just simply means of or from. Like, sometimes it can just mean of or from, right? Depending on how it's being used. But sometimes, more times than not, when you add that ma to the beginning of a root word, it creates a new root word based on that original root word. And I'll show you what I mean. But you just start there, that ma, just know 9 times out of 10, when you see a word that starts with ma, just know that there's probably a deeper root word. And if you want to understand the word completely, or if you want to understand the word or phrase completely, it's best to just break it down anyway, even if it's not being used in that way. Just so, because you might just see this root word by itself, right? And I'll show you what I mean. So ma is part of this root word, but it also just means of or from. And if you take it off, there's another root word. And then you go to this at the end, yum. You can always assume. You can always assume that the yum, you might not always be correct, but you can always assume that the yum at the end means like plural, right? Now, again, you might be wrong. You might be wrong sometimes, but that's a good place to go if you want to troubleshoot and figure out, try to figure out words and phrases on your own. So ha matazarium. You take the yum off, it leaves matazarai, and you take the ma off, it leaves tazarai. So now we look up tazarai. Let's see what that's talking about. 6, 8, 7, 9, 6, 8, which means scourge, to be stricken with leprosy, lepers. All right, tazarai means lepers or leprous. All right. Or leper, right? Or leprous. So matazarai is someone who is stricken with leprosy, or from leprous. His word is built from the word for leprous. Matazarai, from leprous, right? Or leper. And then yum is lepers, people who were stricken with leprosy. All right. And that's what we ask. That's what we asking the Most High for. The power, HaKach, Latahar, to clean, Ha Matazarium, the lepers or the lepers. All right. HaKach, the power, Lahaquayum. Let's see what we got for this. Right, Lahaquayum. This comes from the root word. I'm gonna just go straight to the root word, quam, which means to rise or to raise or to rise. Quam means rise. Right. Then you add a ya in the middle to generally make it past tense, but this is how you get the word raised, right? So la ha quayum, to the raised, right? All right, for the power, for basically for the purpose of this is what the purpose of this power that we're asking for, this ability that we're asking for. We're asking the Most High to give us this ability for the purpose of raising what? Well, what does the English say? The power to raise the dead. Let me scroll down. The power to raise the dead. All right. So after La Hakoyam, which means to raise, right? And just full disclosure, sometimes because these are two different languages spoken in two different ways, the English just like I mean, I'm sure most brothers and sisters who are bilingual or trilingual or multilingual, you notice as well when you translate a language from English to Spanish or English to Italian or English to French or English to German or English to Yoruba or English to whatever language, it doesn't always translate over perfectly. All right. So in the English, it says, or in the Hebrew, it's Lahakoyam. The English translation, word for word or letter, character by character, is to the raised. But just, I just want to, just make sure you understand to, you have to apply just a little bit of common sense and reasoning when you translate in words, right? Because the grammar is just a little bit different than what it is in English. Because Hebrew is not English. And if you try to speak Hebrew like English, then you're going to run into some trouble. All right. Lahakoyam, Hamathium. All right. So the power to raise who? The dead. Ha. All right. So first of all, let's start with this yum again. That yum, like we saw in the last phrase, is how you pluralize something. So like you. That yum at the end is how you pluralize something. All right. So if you start there. So now we can move on to the rest of it. So, and then you got a preposition here, ha, like it's been here this whole entire prayer. It's Nathan Lanawa HaKach Larapa'a Kal Makalawa Kal Madawa HaKach Latahar Ha Matazarium HaKach La Ha Quayum. We've been seeing this ha all night, so I'm sure by now we know that this ha means the, right? Which leaves what? Math. Math means to die or dead, right? Right. That's what math means, right? So ha mathium, the dead or the deads. Of course, you don't. There's no s to pluralize dead, but I'm just saying that just so you understand what like the purpose of everything that's here. Hamathium, the dead, right? Plural. HaKach, the power, the ability. Al Rakawath. So al is over, and I think we went over this last week. Al means over. Rakah, spirit. Wath is plural. Spirits. Al Rakawath. Over spirits. What kind of spirits? Ha Tama Allah. All right, we went over this last week as well, and we can already start with this ha because this ha meant the this entire time. All right, so ha you can assume means the, and then we're going to go to this Allah back here. And this is what I was talking about before. This power, Allah means power, but this power is different from kach, which means ability. Power is, when we're talking about the powers, is a thing or is something that's doing something, right? Or something that's carrying out an ability, for lack of a better word. The ability itself is the word kach, which means power or ability. All right. So the power, HaKach, Al-Rakawath, over spirits, right? The power over spirits. The Tama means unclean, right? And this was another word. I think this is why, again, we skipped toward the end, because these two words was words that was popping up in Sabbath service last week. But I just wanted to go over the prayer from top to bottom again so that we can put it all together. But Ha Tama, the unclean power. Ha Tama Allah, the unclean powers. Right? Over spirits, the unclean powers. Right? Which is what it says down here. The power against unclean spirits, or the power over unclean spirits. All right. All right. La Garshan, two. Let's see. Let me see if I got it here. All right, so the root word here is garash, right? Garash. La garash means to cast out. Now the na at the end is a possessive that means there or them. All right. So la garashan means to cast them out, to cast out them. All right. La garshan, right? Bashim Yahweh, which means in the name of Yahweh, right? Tawada means thank you. And then Amun means so be it. All right, so that's the whole prayer for the power or the HaKach breakdown. All right, if you wanna Salaki. But if you wanna save this class, if you want to save this class, you want to pause it, rewatch it, send it to your loved ones, send it to your friends and family members and all of that. Save this class, pause it, rewind, however you need to do. Take notes, go through your resources, go through you know what I mean, your concordance, find those root words to the words that we went over, that we those new words that we learned and came across. Let's that would be very wise for us to do. All right. With that, we'll go ahead and say shalom, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Brakatham, all the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shemalatham, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, all the sisters. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share the class with your loved ones, like we said before. You know what I mean? Even if you disagree, especially if you disagree, go ahead and share it with whoever, you know what I mean? Share it with whoever disagree with you. You know what I mean? Whoever, if y'all all disagree with us, you know what I mean? Share it with them. I mean, and morning, noon, and night, if you got any questions, comments, or you want to debate or whatever the case is, or you want to arrange anything or whatever, you can hit that QR code in the top corner. And morning, noon, and night, there'll be a brother in that chat, myself included. There'll be a brother in that chat, morning, noon, and night, to answer all your questions and solve all your problems. All right. And with that, shalom, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Brakatham, all the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shemar, Latham, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, all the sisters.